Alright, I wanted to get back into making videos about the garden, and I thought what better way than to introduce you to this little misting house that I put together. It's a little experiment that I'm diving into to see if I can start rooting cuttings and doing plant propagation. It's built out of a lot of stuff that I just had laying around on the farm already. There's some stuff that I did buy, like the misting system, the shade cloth, and a little bit of lumber for the structure. But you can see I've got it pretty much filled up. I built this in late August. Right now it's late September, so everything's been in here for at least a month, or maybe a week or two less than a month. These thornless blackberries, as you can see, have already sprouted roots, which is great because I've never been able to start cuttings from my blackberry plants. I've tried all different kinds of options, and apparently misting is the way to go. You can see the strawberry plants are like a week and a half old. They're not rooted yet, but there's some other strawberry plants on the other side that I'll show you that have rooted really well in about 3 weeks. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this build, and if you'd like me to go into more detail about any bits of how I built it and how it works, I'd be happy to make additional videos to go over that. Just let me know in the comments what you'd like to see, and we'll go over that in a separate video. Some of the other things, like this arborvitae, there's some purple sand cherry and some juniper. They have not rooted yet. I've read a lot and heard that there's a pretty good chance that these will root before frost, which is in another month, in mid-October, for me here in Zone 5. So the plants all look really healthy and alive for the most part. They just haven't shot roots out the bottom like the blackberries have. So you can see that's just kind of, I wanted to throw it together as basically as fast and as cheap as I possibly could, just to see if it worked. And after seeing whether or not it worked, I'll invest more time in upgrading systems that aren't so great, make things a little bit better, a little nicer, cleaner. I'll show you the water hookup. Runs under these tarps into my nursery. It's a little bit sketchy on how it's set up, but like I said, I used a bunch of little pieces and parts of hoses and stuff that I already had on hand just to get it up and running. And that's a lot about what small gardening is it's great if you can afford to buy all the perfect stuff, all the perfect supplies. But just to show proof of concept, it's better just to get it done as fast and as cheap as possible with the parts you already have on hand, just to see if it's worth doing. So here it's kind of hooked up, hanging off the wall, a little sketchy, but you got this nice electrical timer that you can set for the proper settings. For the misting system, you need it to mist for about 6 to 10 seconds every 10 minutes. That way the plants stay moist all the time, and there's just a brief dry period before the next misting cycle. And that's what keeps the plants alive. And you can see these burning bushes right here. I had a dry spot because of these misting heads not working so great, and that's why they look so terrible. They're almost, if not all dead, they all look pretty dead. But I found this little tool in my garage, like a little wire brush. The wires are just perfect to fit inside the little misting nozzle to clean out any gunk buildup. But really the best thing to do is just to take the back of it and give the nozzle a couple of good whacks. That seems to knock off whatever debris clogged up on the inside. And what I'm having trouble with is some of these misting nozzles, they shoot out a little stream. So like this one here, it's completely dead. I've taken it apart and cleaned it several times, and it's a goner. So I put it down here on the end, and I just won't put anything underneath it. It's really not that big a deal, but I would really like it if they were all misting. Some of them shoot streams, and some of them are more of like a shower instead of a mist. So right here, I'm going to show you, this one is turned into a stream. So first what I do is I like to scratch it a little bit, see if I can unclog it, see if that works. It doesn't work. So then my next option is to just give it a few whacks. Sorry, you'll get a little dizzy here. It's hard to do one-handed. But after a few good whacks, I'll show you here in a minute, the stream opens up. Whatever gets clogged in there gets unlodged and moves on. But now you can see it's more of a shower. Not really a mist, but it's better than a stream. So then that's basically, you got to do that at the very least once a week. I like to do it every 3 or 4 days just to make sure I don't get dry spots. But as you can see with how they work now, everything's pretty much damp. Not a whole lot of dry spots. It takes a little bit to get all the nozzles adjusted so they're spraying in the right direction. But also, when I go through and check the mist heads, I also unplug the end cap here. Also hard to do one-handed, but as you'll see, there is a lot of gunk buildup. We're on a well. We have well water, so there's a lot of sediment in our water. I have added a filter on the early on in the hose right off of the faucet, but the filter doesn't catch everything, so I like to go through and open up that nozzle and kind of drain out the gunk. So again, this is just my latest project. I wanted to get it out there and see if anybody had comments or questions, or if you have any suggestions on improvements or alternatives to these mist heads. Feel free to drop a line in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. This is my very first attempt at a misting bed, so it's a learning experience, but I'm happy to share it with you guys. So let me know, and hopefully we'll have some updates soon. Thanks for watching.